August 6th is a landmark date in progress gone mad, because it was on this date back in 1890 that William Kemmler was the first man sent to the electric chair. Now, some of you may have thought I was going to talk about the atomic bombing of Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. But as a matter of fact, I consider that a legitimate act of war. I think it saved millions of lives, most of them Japanese, and certainly the Japanese government, like Hitler, wouldn't have hesitated to use atomic weapons on us if they'd got them first. Maybe, in principle, a world without nukes would be a better world, but it certainly wouldn't be better if only the bad guys had them. But execution using electricity? What is this, applying some newfangled fad to a matter as solemn as capital punishment? I mean, I understand some people think that all capital punishment is cruel and unusual. And I understand that argument. I mean, from a religious point of view, you could even argue that the worst criminals are the last people we should execute because they desperately need time to repent. But I feel that there are cases where execution is legitimate. I would reserve it for the worst cases, those who seem really to have put themselves in a state of enmity and war with all mankind, with serial killers, with terrorists, with those who commit high treason. I don't actually think that Kemmler himself qualified. He was a drunken loser. He killed his wife with a hatchet. He's the sort of person I think probably just should get a life sentence. But if you're going to execute people, as I think in some cases we should, what's with using electricity? Was there any suggestion that people who were hanged were surviving at an unacceptable rate, or that people who were beheaded or even shot by a firing squad were suffering degrading pain over an unnecessarily prolonged period as they died? That case could certainly be made about the electric chair. Kemmler's own execution was singularly gruesome. They had to give it 2 tries. There was the smell of charred flesh. It was revolting. As a matter of fact, his attorneys did try to argue that electrocution was cruel and unusual, and they were backed by George Westinghouse because he supported the use of alternating current electricity in households, and the chair was wired up to AC. He didn't want this done because he thought it would prove it was dangerous. On the other hand, J.P. Morgan, who was backing Thomas Edison's direct current for ordinary use, did want the chair wired up to AC, which strike me as unacceptably shallow and frivolous motives when you're talking about something as serious as the deliberate taking of human life. But so more generally is using electricity just because it's new and improved. What is this, a breakfast cereal? Are you kidding me? People have been put to death for a long period of time cleanly and efficiently using traditional methods. And there is no reason that we should not have continued to do it. An axe was good enough for Charles I. A rope was good enough for Adolf Eichmann. They're good enough for me.